Okay, so have you heard about this? OpenAI just came out with this thing called deep research.
I have, yeah. It's pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, and it's got people in the AI world freaking out.
Oh, yeah, I can see why it's being compared to like the invention of Google search.
It really does feel like that.
Yeah.
Like it's a total game changer.
Hmm.
So basically, imagine you've got this AI
Right?
that can do research like a person, but way better.
Way faster too, presumably.
Right, yeah. Faster, more accurate,
Uh-huh.
more in depth.
And it can process so much more information than a human can.
It's insane. So instead of just like, answering your questions,
Right.
it's actually going out there,
Yeah.
finding information, pulling it all together, and
Synthesizing it, analyzing it.
yeah, and presenting it like a research paper.
It's like having a super-powered research assistant at your fingertips.
That's exactly it. Your own personal research assistant.
Yeah.
So how would that change your life if you had access to that?
I mean, think about how much time we spend just searching for information, right? Like,
Yeah.
if I could just ask a question and get a fully researched report back in like 30 minutes, it would be a game changer.
Oh, totally. It would free up so much time and mental energy.
Absolutely.
So let's get into how this thing actually works.
Okay, so it uses a fine-tuned version of OpenAI's O3 reasoning model.
Oh, three. That's a mouthful.
It is, yeah. Basically, it's a super advanced language model that's been trained with something called reinforcement learning.
Okay, reinforcement learning. Break that down for me.
So imagine you're training a dog, right? You give it treats for good behavior, and over time, it learns to perform the trick consistently.
Okay, got it.
With deep research, instead of a dog, you have a complex algorithm.
Okay.
And instead of treats, you have data. The algorithm is trained on massive data sets, learning to identify patterns, make connections, and ultimately conduct research in a way that maximizes its reward.
And the reward is finding the most relevant and accurate information, right?
Exactly. And that's what makes it so powerful and flexible. It can tackle a wide range of research tasks, even those it's never encountered before.
So it's not just following a set of pre-programmed rules, it's actually learning and adapting as it goes.
Exactly. And that's what sets it apart from previous AI models. It's not just regurgitating information, it's actually understanding and synthesizing it.
So this O3 model, it's what allows deep research to, like, plan out its research strategy.
Right, like a human expert would.
Yeah.
You can figure out, okay, first I need to find articles on this, then cross-reference with that, then maybe even run some calculations.
Wait, hold up. It can code too.
Yeah, they've given it access to Python tools, so it can do calculations, create visualizations, even write simple scripts.
That's insane. So we're talking browsing the web, reading files, crunching numbers, making graphs. It's like a research Swiss Army knife.
It really is. And the
Yeah.
crazy part is it cites its sources meticulously, just like a human researcher would.
Okay, but let's talk about what this thing can actually do. Because they're claiming it's blowing other AI models out of the water on some pretty tough tests.
Right, so they put it through this thing called Humanity's Last Exam,
Okay.
which covers 100 different subjects. I mean, we're talking everything from astrophysics to ancient history to like the history of cheese making.
The history of cheese making.
Yeah, no, it's a crazy range. But basically, it's designed to be this ultimate test of knowledge and reasoning. And deep research scored a 26.6% accuracy, which is almost double the previous best AI model.
Double. Okay, so that's impressive, even if I don't understand half the subjects on that test. But what about real-world applications? How is deep research actually helping people?
Well, there's this one example that really stuck with me. This OpenAI employee was trying to help his wife make decisions about her cancer treatment.
Oh, wow.
So he uploaded her medical records to deep research and asked for guidance on radiation therapy.
That's getting pretty personal. Did it actually help?
Yeah, it actually provided insights that went beyond what the doctors had initially offered.
Really?
Yeah, it helped them feel more confident in their decision making, which, when you're dealing with something as serious as cancer, that peace of mind is invaluable.
Absolutely. That's a powerful example of how this technology can have a real impact on people's lives. So it's not just for academics and tech people, it's got the potential to help everyone.
Exactly. And they kept using this phrase, democratization of expertise.
Yeah, I saw that. What does that actually mean?
Well, imagine someone in a rural area who doesn't have easy access to specialists.
Okay. Yeah.
Deep research could give them access to the same level of information and analysis as someone in a big city with the top doctors.
So it levels the playing field, basically.
Exactly. It could be a game changer for healthcare, education, even things like legal advice or financial planning. High-level research and analysis wouldn't just be for the privileged few anymore.
That's incredible. But okay, aside from medical research and, helping people understand their cancer treatments, what else can this thing do?
Well, one example they gave was like someone was trying to remember a specific episode of a TV show, but they could only remember a really vague scene.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Right. And deep research was actually able to identify the episode based on that super vague description, like stuff that a regular search engine would never be able to find.
So it's like a research librarian crossed with Sherlock Holmes.
That's a great way to put it.
But for all its smarts, is this thing perfect? I mean, they must have hit some snags along the way, right?
Oh, of course. No technology is flawless, and deep research is still under development.
Right.
They did emphasize that it's designed to reduce errors, but you still have to fact-check its work. It's a tool. It's not meant to replace human judgment entirely.
So it's about using deep research as a starting point to get a head start on your research, but then applying your own critical thinking skills to evaluate the results.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a partnership between human and machine, each bringing their own strengths to the table.
Okay, so we've seen what deep research can do.
Right.
Now let's get a little geeky and talk about how it actually works, this reinforcement learning thing. Break that down for us a little more. What's going on under the hood that makes deep research tick?
Right. So remember that dog training analogy?
Yeah.
Well, basically, you have this complex algorithm,
Uh-huh.
and instead of treats, you have data. The algorithm is trained on massive data sets,
Right.
learning to identify patterns, make connections, and ultimately conduct research in a way that maximizes its reward. And that reward is finding the most relevant and accurate information possible.
So it's not pre-programmed with a set of rules. It's actually learning and adapting based on the data it's exposed to.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so powerful and flexible. It can tackle a wide range of research tasks, even ones it's never encountered before.
That's crazy impressive. But what about potential downsides? I mean, anything this powerful is bound to have some ethical considerations, right?
Of course. And OpenAI knows that. They're putting a lot of effort into making sure that deep research is used responsibly. They're also researching ways to prevent potential biases from creeping into the system.
Right, because with great power comes great responsibility, right?
But even with those caveats, it's hard not to feel like this is a glimpse into the future.
It really is. A future where AI isn't just about automating tasks, but amplifying human capabilities.
Helping us think deeper, learn faster, solve problems more effectively.
Exactly.
And this is just the beginning. Imagine what deep research will be capable of as AI continues to evolve at this pace.
The possibilities are really mind-boggling. It's an exciting time to be alive, witnessing the birth of a technology that could reshape entire industries and redefine what it means to be an expert.
Okay, I'm officially hooked. I want to hear more about how this could transform specific fields like healthcare, education,
Yeah.
even the arts.
Well, let's dive into that next, because once you start imagining the applications, it's hard to stop. So, healthcare.
Okay, yeah, healthcare. It's got to be huge for healthcare. Imagine your doctor. You're in a busy ER. You have a patient with a rare condition that you don't see very often.
Oh, yeah.
In the past, you'd have to scramble,
Yeah.
try to find the latest research.
Yeah.
But with deep research, you can have that information in minutes.
Wow, that could be life-saving in those situations, literally.
Absolutely.
But it goes beyond just like, emergency situations, right? This could be huge for like drug development, finding cures for diseases.
Oh, absolutely. Think about clinical trials.
Yeah.
They're analyzing mountains of data.
Right.
Deep research can sift through that, identify patterns, maybe even point out potential breakthroughs that human researchers might miss.
And on a more individual level, what about personalized medicine? Like we talked about that cancer treatment example, but like I can imagine this helping people manage chronic conditions,
Yeah,
maybe even prevent some diseases altogether.
absolutely. Imagine it analyzes your genetic data, your lifestyle, your medical history, and then gives you personalized recommendations. It could say, like, based on your unique profile, you should be doing this type of exercise, eating these foods.
It's like having your own personal health advisor.
Exactly. Healthcare becomes proactive, preventative, and tailored to the individual.
That's amazing. So we've got healthcare. What about education? I feel like this is also a huge opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. Education is going to be completely transformed by this.
Yeah.
Imagine a student, they're struggling with algebra, right?
Uh-huh.
Instead of just getting frustrated, they could ask deep research to explain it in a way that makes sense to them.
Oh, wow.
They could even use real-world examples or create interactive visuals.
It's like having a tutor that's infinitely patient and can adapt to your learning style.
Exactly. And it's not just about individual subjects. This could change how we approach education as a whole.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Imagine crafting your own personalized learning plan with deep research. It could curate resources, suggest courses, connect you with mentors in your field of interest.
It's like a superpowered guidance counselor.
Exactly. Learning becomes continuous, personalized, and driven by your own curiosity.
That's awesome. And again, like with healthcare, it could be a game changer for people who don't have access to traditional education.
Absolutely. It breaks down those barriers of location, cost, background.
Everyone has the opportunity to learn and grow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got healthcare, we've got education, but what about something a little more, I don't know, unexpected, like the arts? Can AI really have an impact on something as creative and subjective as art?
That's where it gets really interesting. I think there's a lot of potential there.
Really?
Imagine a musician using deep research to explore different musical styles, analyze the works of great composers, even get inspiration for new melodies.
So instead of replacing artists, it's actually a tool for them to expand their creativity.
Exactly. Or think about a writer with writer's block. They could ask deep research to analyze successful novels in their genre, identify recurring themes, suggest plot twists.
That's so cool. So it's like a creative brainstorming part.
That's a good way to put it. And for visual arts, you can imagine using it to analyze brushstrokes, pigment compositions, historical context, to authenticate a painting,
Wow.
or even to help restore damaged artwork.
It's like giving art historians and conservators a superpower. And what about AI actually creating art? Is that a possibility?
That's where things get really interesting. I think we're going to see more and more collaborations between human artists and AI.
So it's not about AI replacing artists, it's about AI augmenting human creativity.
Exactly. It's a new frontier of artistic expression.
Okay, so we've seen the potential in healthcare, education, the arts. But what about the impact on businesses? This has got to be huge for companies, right?
Oh, absolutely. Think about market research.
Yeah.
Companies can use deep research to analyze market trends, predict consumer behavior,
Okay.
develop products and services that perfectly align with customer needs.
So it's like having a crystal ball that can predict the future of your business.
In a way, yes.
And then there's marketing, right?
Yes. Imagine personalizing campaigns down to the individual level,
Oh, wow.
crafting messages that resonate with each customer's unique needs and interests.
That sounds incredibly powerful and maybe a little creepy, like how much personalization is too much.
That's a valid concern. It's a balancing act between providing a personalized experience and respecting privacy.
Definitely. But used responsibly, I can see how this could be a game changer for businesses. Okay, so marketing, what else?
Think about operations, logistics, supply chain management. Deep research could analyze data to optimize processes, reduce waste, increase efficiency across the board.
It's like giving companies a superpower to streamline their operations.
Exactly. And there's customer service. Imagine AI chatbots that can understand complex queries, provide personalized solutions, even anticipate customer needs before they even ask.
Wow, that's the dream, right? Seamless and satisfying customer service.
It's about building stronger relationships with customers and earning their loyalty.
So deep research isn't just a research tool, it's a business transformation tool.
Absolutely. And it's not just for big corporations. Small businesses can use this technology to level the playing field, compete with the big guys.
That's amazing. So deep research is really about democratizing access to knowledge and innovation, empowering everyone.
Exactly. It's a tool that can help us all thrive in the digital age.
That's really inspiring, but we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the potential downsides too. Like, what about jobs? I mean, if AI can do research that used to take humans hours, days, even weeks, doesn't that mean some people are going to be out of work?
It's a valid concern, and it's something we need to be thinking about.
Yeah.
As AI becomes more sophisticated, some jobs will become automated. It's inevitable. But new jobs will emerge, just like they always have.
So it's not about resisting change, it's about adapting to it.
Exactly. We need to focus on developing skills that complement AI, rather than trying to compete with it.
So what kinds of skills are we talking about?
Well, creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
These are skills that AI is still struggling with.
Okay, so those are the areas where humans will continue to have an edge.
Absolutely.
But what about the people whose jobs get automated? How do we make sure everyone benefits from this technological revolution?
That's where things like social safety nets and retraining programs come in. We need to make sure that people who are displaced by automation have the support they need to transition to new careers.
So it's about creating a more equitable society, one where the benefits of AI are shared by everyone.
Exactly. Technology should be a force for good, not a source of division and inequality.
Well said. But okay, even with all that, it still feels like we're just scratching the surface here. If deep research can already do so much, what does that mean for the future of human intelligence itself? Are we going to be surpassed by AI? Are we all going to become cyborgs?
Those are big questions, and they're questions that we need to be asking. We're creating machines that can learn, reason, solve problems. What does that say about our own unique capabilities as humans?
It's mind-blowing, honestly.
It is. It challenges us to really think about what it means to be human, to be intelligent. And it forces us to ask, can we coexist with AI, even collaborate with it, in a way that benefits both humanity and the machines we create?
Yeah, and are there any actual tech solutions in the works that could help protect privacy?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's one's called data anonymization.
Data anonymization.
Yeah, it's basically where you strip away any identifying information before you give the data to the AI.
Oh, okay. So the AI can still learn from the data, but it can't trace it back to any specific person.
Right, exactly. And then there's another one, it's called differential privacy. It's kind of complicated, but basically it adds a little bit of statistical noise to the data, just enough to make it harder to trace back to individuals, but not enough to mess up the overall trends.
So it's like, yeah, finding that balance, right? Like protecting people's privacy while still letting the AI do its job.
Exactly, yeah.
But even with all that, it still feels a little, I don't know, uneasy, right? Like how much privacy are we willing to give up for all this amazing stuff AI can do?
It's a tough question,
Yeah.
and it's one that each of us has to answer for ourselves.
Yeah.
It's not just about the tech, it's about what we value as a society.
Right.
What do we consider private? How much control do we want over our data? These are things we need to be talking about, not just letting the tech companies decide for us.
Absolutely. It's easy to get caught up in all the cool stuff and forget about the bigger picture.
Right.
But this data privacy thing, it's a big deal.
It is. It really is. And it kind of leads into another big question that we keep coming back to, which is, what does all this mean for the future of work?
Oh, yeah, the robots are coming for our jobs.
That's the fear, right? But like most things, it's a little more complicated than that.
Okay, so how do you see it playing out?
Well, throughout history, every time there's been a major technological advancement, there's been disruption in the job market.
Right.
And AI is no different. Some jobs are going to be automated. That's just a reality of it.
Yeah.
But that also means new jobs are going to be created, jobs that we can't even imagine right now.
So it's not about like trying to hold on to the jobs of the past. It's about being ready for the jobs of the future.
Exactly. And figuring out
Oh,
what AI can't do and getting really good at those things.
so what are those things? Like what should people be focusing on if they want to stay ahead of the curve?
Well, think about things like creativity, critical thinking, complex problem solving, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
These are all things that humans are still way better at than AI, at least for now.
Okay, so we need to be lifelong learners, always learning new skills, always adapting. And we need to focus on those uniquely human qualities that AI can't replicate.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Because those are the things that are going to make us valuable in the future job market.
But even with all that, there are still going to be people whose jobs get displaced by AI. So how do we make sure that everyone benefits from these advancements, not just the people who are already ahead?
Well, that's where things like, strong social safety nets, robust retraining programs, maybe even something like universal basic income. Those are all things we need to be seriously considering.
So it's about making sure that even though the nature of work is changing, everyone still has the opportunity to thrive.
Right, exactly. And I think that's really important. We
Yeah.
can't just focus on the technological advances and forget about the human cost. We have to make sure that everyone benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a really fascinating conversation. I feel like we've just scratched the surface, though. Like, if deep research can already do so much, what does this mean for the future of humanity itself? Are we going to be surpassed by AI? Are we all going to become cyborgs?
Oh, those are big questions. And to be honest, nobody really knows the answers yet. But they're definitely questions that we should be thinking about. We're creating these machines that can learn and reason and solve problems in ways that we never thought possible.
What's mind-blowing?
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
it forces us to ask ourselves, what does it actually mean to be human? What does it mean to be intelligent?
Yeah. And it also makes you wonder, can we coexist with these incredibly intelligent machines? Can we collaborate with them? Or are we going to end up in some kind of sci-fi dystopia where AI takes over?
Well, hopefully not the dystopia part, but it's definitely a future that we need to be thinking about and shaping right now.
Absolutely. This deep research thing, it's not just about the tech, it's about the future of our species.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think the important thing to remember is that we have a choice. We're not just along for the ride. We have the power to shape how AI is developed, how it's used, and ultimately what role it plays in our lives.
So this isn't the end of the conversation, it's just the beginning.
Exactly. We all need to keep learning, keep questioning, keep talking about these things, and make sure that we're building a future that works for everyone.
Absolutely. Well, this has been an incredible conversation. I've learned so much, and I'm sure our listeners have too.
I hope so.
It's been a real deep dive into the world of deep research and all the amazing possibilities and challenges that come with it.
It really has.
And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this journey. We hope you've enjoyed it.
And we hope you'll continue to explore these ideas with us.
Because the future is not something that happens to us, it's something we create. So let's go out there and create a future where technology empowers us all. Thanks for listening.